Kia ora, good evening. The Invercargill City Council held a public consultation meeting last night to let the city's residents have their say on the fate of Rugby Park. Representatives from the ICC and the Southland Outdoor Stadium Trust held the meeting, which was attended by around 30 members of the public. Council has proposed to take ownership of the outdoor stadium, a decision which awaits the submission process. ICC Chief Executive Richard King said he was pleased with the consultation and felt he had a better understanding of what the public wanted for the stadium and also their concerns. Submissions for the proposal are open until Friday, February 13. The hearing for Stage 2 of the Around the Mountains Cycle Trail has been adjourned and resource consent is pending. The new application received a total of 226 submissions, which went before a private commissioner in the 3-day hearing.
The Southland District Council applied for land use consent for the second stage of the trail, which was met by 138 submissions in opposition.
I suppose the biggest general theme was around the fishing and the impacts on fishing. They all talked about the significant brown trout fishery in that upper Ariti area, and the effect that cyclists will have on that fishery.
Southland Fish and Game, who were one of the submitters in opposition, said their main concern was the cycle trail spoiling the characteristics of the area.
The three significant issues that perhaps the hearing synthesised down to were the bridge across the Ariti, and it's a large bridge, but in the context of the landscape it's not that significant. And then the other one was parts of the trail that need to actually zigzag up the hill, so they will be a bit of a visual feature on the hill near the Three Kings area, which is a very significant landscape. So we've already looked at how we might redesign that and take them out of the focus from down at the river looking back up into that feature.
The Southland District Council says the cycle trail has already proven beneficial to the region's economy and will continue to do so if resource consent is approved.
The feedback we've received from the riders as well as the local community has been that they're very pleased with the quality of the trail and also the experience that they're getting in terms of the landscapes that they're able to view. The numbers of local families as well as visitors has been very well received by the communities, and new accommodation provision opportunities being mooted at the moment as well. So, between accommodation and the hospitality type facilities, there has been a lot of interest in either increasing what they offer now or building new.
How much money could the new trail bring in annually?
Again, how long's a piece of string? I suppose, the economic impact, there's been some studies that have been done of some of the other trails around the country, and you're talking here these types of grade 1, 2 experiences. People will, with disposable income, there'd be no problem to spend $200 to $300 a day in terms of their food and their accommodation. And then you've obviously got the transport costs on top of that. So exponentially you accrue that to the number of potential users over the next 5 years of building that up. The economic return is quite significant.
And while construction has already begun on some of the trail, the process for resource consent may mean delaying construction for certain areas.
The decision, assuming it comes within those 20 working days, there's then an appeal period for 15 working days after that, where any party who's been either a submitter or the applicant can actually appeal the consent, either being granted or not granted. And then, of course, potentially if that's taken to the Environment Court, there'll be some months before the court would actually hear it. So in the long term, if it goes through that whole process and the consent's finally granted, it could be towards the end of the year before work could start on that piece that we've applied for the consent for.
If consent is approved without appeal, the cycle trail may be completed by December this year. Sharon Rees, South Today News.
An independent survey of over 6,000 New Zealanders conducted by the RV Supercentre has revealed surprising statistics to Southland holiday habits. A survey has revealed that 52% of Southland respondents prefer the camper van or motorhome dream above the crib or holiday home pursuit. More than half of all Southland respondents would prefer to own one of these as opposed to a nice car, batch or boat. The most common answer on how long they could stay in a motorhome or caravan was just 1 month at 28%, with just over a quarter saying they could last 12 months, a real home away from home. Southland also proved to be a spontaneous region, with only 20% of respondents admitting to planning an itinerary before they travelled. Do stay with us. Coming up after the break, processing demands are high for southern meat workers and a battle of the sexes hits Invercargill. Welcome back. Longville Alliance meat workers in Invercargill are under pressure, with staff working extra hours to meet processing demands. Lamb weights are down a little on last year, fetching around $90 to $95 per animal depending on size. Dry January conditions have led to earlier lamb processing, causing Alliance Group meat workers to pick up extra hours.
Since Christmas began, we've worked every Saturday that's been available. We're even working this Saturday between Waitangi Day and the day and Sunday just to kill extra stock. Last week we went to extended hours.
7 chains are in operation and staff are working an extra hour a day, bringing processing capacity up to 28,000 animals per day.
That is because the pressure has been on since it's been so dry since Christmas, and that farmers are trying to get their old ewes off. We're up with the lambs, but it's the old ewes that are causing the problem at the moment, and we're trying to process as many of them as we possibly can.
What sort of wait time are farmers facing for that?
Anything from 2 to 4 weeks, I think, for the old ewes. Lambs we're trying to keep up with because, of course, it's the Easter trade in the UK and Europe now, so we've got a process now to get the lambs over there in time for Easter.
The Meat Workers Union have been supportive, with workers meeting the extra hours.
They understand the situation they're in and know it's putting pressure on the people. They know that's got to be done.
Alliance Normal currently has 2 shifts operating from 7 in the morning until 3 a.m. Each worker on the slaughter chain has around 7 seconds to complete their task.
Generally they work in rotations so that they don't suffer from RSI or repetitive strain injuries. So every 15 minutes they move on to a new job. Most rotations would have about 5 or 6 positions, so that they get a rest from the one they were doing before. We'll have somewhere between 1,800 and 2,000 employees, which makes us one of the largest, if not the largest, industrial site in New Zealand as far as people working here goes.
Engineering science is also showing benefits for staff and throughput.
With the technology, you can train the workers up faster, so we can get them up to speed quicker. The machines don't have brakes as such, so there's the absenteeism and everything like that, and it's just a cleaner, easier job than it used to be.
While Longville remains the South's biggest meat processor, the effects of dairy on sheep numbers has had an impact.
We haven't noticed it here at Longville. We've been pretty steady over the years, but you only have to look around to see that Ocean Beach was once here, Macariwa was here, Matara was processing lamb. But then there's been a few smaller players come in, like your Blue Skies, your SPMs and so on. But it has definitely had an effect.
Alliance Group Limited are expected to process around 6 million lambs this year. Margot Southland, South Today News. The age-old battle of the sexes will be hitting the city next month, and some familiar faces will go head-to-head. Men are superior to women is a set of mini debates which will see some Southland celebrities battle it out for their respective gender.
2 teams made up of well-known Southlanders made their first public appearances today ahead of next month's comedic debate. The women's team will be led by journalist Sarah McCarthy, who will match against her co-worker and head of the men's team, Michael Fallow. Event organisers said one of the many intrigues of the night will be former Southland MP Eric Roy going up against his recent replacement, Sarah Dowie. All proceeds for the night will go to Autism Southland, the Southland Hockey Turf and the Invercargill Bridge Club. This battle of the sexes will be held at the Ascot Park Hotel, 7:30 p.m. on Friday the 27th of March. Tickets are available from McCallum's and Toy World.
Can't imagine there'll be much of an argument from the men. And that's it from the news team this week. Coming up next is the weather, followed by sport. But first, let's take a look at the week that was. Enjoy your long weekend. Good night.
She made a place for